You're about to witness something no one thought was possible. Steven Seagal, master of Aikido, stepping into the arena, confident, unstoppable, until Chuck Norris calmly walks in. No theatrics, no flash, just eyes locked, a subtle smirk, and a presence that changes everything. What happens next? One move, one laugh, and the entire arena is left completely speechless. This is martial arts history like you've never seen before. The arena was electric. Thousands of fans filled the stands, their cheers echoing off the walls like a storm. Camera flashes lit up the stage as the announcer's voice boomed over the loudspeakers, hyping the ultimate martial arts showdown. Chuck Norris versus Steven Seagal. The crowd had waited months for this moment, a meeting of legends, and the tension was palpable. Steven Seagal entered first. His movements were smooth, precise, and deliberate, each Aikido spin and throw executed with a level of confidence that demanded attention. He scanned the arena, eyes glinting with a mixture of pride and challenge. Every step was calculated, every gesture a statement. I am the master. The fans cheered, some nervously, some in awe, and the atmosphere felt almost sacred. Then, the spotlight shifted. The music changed. A hush fell over the audience. Chuck Norris appeared. Unlike Seagal, Chuck didn't need theatrics. He walked onto the mat with calm, effortless authority. No flashy spins, no exaggerated poses, just Chuck. His piercing eyes scanned Seagal as if measuring him in a single glance. The contrast was immediate. Seagal, all showmanship and energy, versus Chuck, still as stone yet radiating quiet confidence. Seagal's smirk widened. He knew the reputation. Chuck Norris wasn't just any fighter. He was a living legend. But Seagal thrived on challenges, and tonight he intended to prove himself. He stepped into his fighting stance, ready to demonstrate why he had dominated countless arenas with his Aikido mastery. Chuck, by contrast, didn't move yet. He simply nodded, acknowledging Seagal's presence, his calm demeanor almost mocking in its serenity. The crowd leaned forward, sensing something was about to happen, though none of them knew exactly what. The tension was thick, like the moment before a storm breaks. Cameras clicked furiously, fans whispered excitedly, and even Seagal felt a flicker of uncertainty. This wasn't just a clash of martial artists. It was a test of composure, skill, and presence. Then, the announcer's voice cut through the suspense. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for a showdown you'll never forget. And that's when the first throw attempt came, a move that Seagal believed would set the tone for the entire match. But little did he know, the moment Chuck Norris reacted would leave the entire arena speechless. The arena lights glared down on the polished mat as Steven Seagal stepped forward. He raised his arms, rotating his wrists in a controlled motion, the way a true Aikido master would. Every eye in the crowd followed his movements. Some cheered in anticipation, while others whispered to each other, debating who would truly dominate tonight. Seagal launched into a series of spins and throws, executing them with precision, almost robotic in perfection. He grabbed an imaginary opponent, twisted, and released, the kind of fluid motion only years of training could produce. The fans clapped politely, impressed by the spectacle. But behind Seagal's confident gaze, there was a flicker of challenge. Tonight, he would prove that he was unmatched, and nothing, not even Chuck Norris, would stop him. Chuck Norris, however, remained calm. He didn't move his arms or shift his stance. He watched Seagal intently, his eyes following each spin and throw. A subtle smirk tugged at the corner of his mouth, barely noticeable to the crowd, but unmistakable to those paying attention. He knew the dance Seagal was performing. He had seen thousands of opponents attempt similar theatrics, thinking flash alone could intimidate a true master. Seagal, emboldened, stepped closer and attempted his first real Aikido throw, a high, spinning wrist lock he had perfected over decades. The audience gasped as he lunged forward, expecting Chuck to react dramatically. But Chuck simply shifted his weight fractionally, almost imperceptibly, and the throw failed completely. Seagal's arm spun through empty air. His momentum carried him a step past his mark. A ripple of murmurs spread through the arena. Some fans laughed quietly, unsure whether it was part of the show or an accident. Seagal's confident smirk faltered for just a moment. Chuck's calm composure only emphasized the absurdity of the failed throw. Seagal tried again, faster this time. Another spin, another attempt at dominating the encounter with flashy technique. Again, Chuck remained unflustered, intercepting the movement effortlessly, redirecting it in a way that made the audience's jaws drop. Seagal landed lightly on his feet, but the crowd could see it. His confidence was starting to waver. Chuck finally moved, but not in the way anyone expected. He took one step forward, not aggressively, not boastfully, just a small, deliberate movement. And then, a quiet chuckle escaped him. The sound was soft at first, but then it grew, a deep, resonant laugh that filled the arena. Chuck Norris was laughing at Steven Seagal's Aikido. The audience froze. Cameras clicked frantically. Some fans laughed along. Others whispered in disbelief. Could a man like Chuck Norris really find humor in this? Seagal's expression shifted from determination to confusion. He had faced countless opponents, yet none had ever reacted like this. His own throws, which had been flawless in practice, now seemed almost theatrical in the presence of Chuck's effortless control. The announcer's voice trembled with excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems Chuck Norris isn't just watching, he's judging. Seagal attempted to recover his composure, gesturing dramatically as if to show off his mastery. He grabbed for another throw, spinning with a flourish, hoping the audience would marvel at his skill. But Chuck remained composed, stepping lightly aside, letting Seagal. The arena was electric, every eye glued to the mat. Steven Seagal, determined to prove himself, took a deep breath and centered his stance. He could feel the weight of the crowd pressing down on him, but he pushed the nerves aside. Tonight, he would show the world that his Aikido mastery was unmatched. Chuck Norris, calm and composed, stepped slightly forward. He didn't need to shout or taunt. His presence alone exuded confidence, and the crowd could sense it. Every muscle in Seagal's body tensed as he prepared for his first real offensive move. This wasn't about theatrics anymore. It was about skill, precision, and control. Seagal lunged with lightning speed, attempting a wrist lock followed by a spinning throw he had perfected over decades. The motion was flawless. In any other match, this would have been a show-stopping move. But Chuck had anticipated it before Seagal even began. With one subtle shift of weight, Chuck neutralized the throw without any visible effort. The audience gasped. Some let out low whistles. Others laughed in disbelief. Seagal stumbled slightly, regaining balance, and tried again. His pride burned. He had faced countless opponents, yet none had made him feel so off balance. The crowd watched with bated breath. Phones and cameras rose in unison, recording every second. Seagal increased the intensity. He executed a high spin, trying to land a throw that would finally assert his dominance. Chuck, however, didn't just dodge. He intercepted with perfect timing, redirecting Seagal's momentum safely yet forcefully. Seagal's feet landed precisely, but the impact of Chuck's technique was undeniable. The audience erupted, half in awe, half in laughter, stunned by Chuck's effortless control. For a moment, Seagal froze. He realized something profound. Chuck Norris wasn't just defending himself. He was teaching a lesson in mastery. Seagal's confidence wavered, his movements slightly less assured. The crowd could sense the shift in power dynamics. Every throw Seagal attempted was met with Chuck's calm, precise countering. Chuck's calm demeanor contrasted sharply with Seagal's growing frustration. He didn't yell or move aggressively. He simply let Seagal's energy work against him. Each failed attempt by Seagal drew a ripple of chuckles from Chuck, audible even over the roaring audience. The arena had never witnessed anything like this. A master laughing at another master, not to humiliate, but to demonstrate true control. The announcer leaned into the microphone, voice trembling with excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. Seagal's legendary Aikido moves, blocked and countered effortlessly by Chuck Norris. The arena has never seen anything like this. Seagal, feeling the pressure, tried a combination move, wrist lock, spinning throw, and a sudden push intended to disorient Chuck. The crowd leaned forward in anticipation. Every eye was locked on the mat. For a heartbeat, it seemed like Seagal might succeed. But Chuck, with a single, fluid motion, redirected the attack, sending Seagal spinning harmlessly across the mat. The impact wasn't violent, but the spectacle was unforgettable. Seagal landed on his feet, slightly shaken, while the crowd erupted into cheers. Chuck's subtle chuckle followed, growing louder, almost contagious. Fans in the front rows could hardly contain their laughter. The arena had reached a fever pitch. Fans were on the edge of their seats, cameras and phones raised to capture every second. Steven Seagal, trying to recover from the previous exchanges, narrowed his eyes. He had faced countless opponents, but none had ever made him feel this uncertain. Every spin, every throw, every move he executed was being met with flawless defense. And that subtle chuckle, it was starting to get under his skin. Chuck Norris stood calmly, eyes locked on Seagal, the slightest smirk forming on his lips. He didn't move aggressively. He didn't strike. He simply let Seagal expend energy in theatrics, redirecting and countering each move effortlessly. Then it happened. A deep, genuine laugh erupted from Chuck. Not a mocking laugh, not a cruel one, but a laugh that carried confidence, mastery, and amusement all at once. It echoed through the arena like thunder, and for a split second, the crowd fell silent. No one had expected this. The legendary Chuck Norris was laughing at Steven Seagal's Aikido. The reaction was instantaneous. Phones captured the moment from every angle. Fans gasped and then erupted into laughter themselves. Some clutched their faces in disbelief. Whispers spread like wildfire. Did Chuck just laugh at him? He's outclassing Seagal without even trying. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Seagal froze. For the first time in the arena, his confidence faltered. He had always relied on the precision and intimidation of his Aikido. Yet here he was, spinning, lunging, throwing, and Chuck was standing there, calm, composed, and laughing. The crowd's reaction only added to the pressure. He could feel the stares of thousands, all silently cheering for Chuck. Even the commentators were speechless. Chuck's laugh wasn't just sound. It was a statement, a demonstration of skill and composure. The arena began to sense the shift. The moment Seagal had hoped to dominate, the moment he expected to awe the crowd, was slipping away. Chuck had taken control without a single strike. The announcer, barely able to contain excitement, shouted over the roar. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Norris isn't just watching. He's commanding respect. Look at him. The calm, the precision, the laughter. Seagal's skill incredible, but nothing against Chuck's mastery. Seagal attempted to regain composure, gesturing to the crowd, executing another spinning throw with all his strength. But Chuck, still smiling, moved just enough to redirect it. Nothing violent, just perfectly controlled. The audience erupted in amazement. Even Seagal's own expression shifted from concentration to a mix of surprise and reluctant admiration. The laughter, however, continued. Chuck wasn't mocking. He was showing mastery with humility. The audience loved it. Whistles, claps, and cheers filled the arena as people realized that this wasn't just a clash of martial artists. It was a display of control, confidence, and entertainment at the highest level. Fans began shouting encouragement, leaning forward as if to see the next move. Chuck, 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 echoed through the arena, blending with laughter and applause. Seagal, momentarily overwhelmed, tried to spin again, but Chuck's calm presence made every attempt seem unnecessary, as though the outcome had already been determined. Have you ever seen someone outclass so effortlessly? Comment Chuck if you agree. And tell us, which country and city are you watching from? We want to see where our fans are cheering from. Seagal attempted one final combination, faster than before, hoping to catch Chuck off guard. But Chuck, with one subtle movement, redirected Seagal's energy once more. The crowd gasped. This time, the throw didn't just fail. It ended with Seagal spinning slightly off balance, landing perfectly but visibly stunned. Chuck's laughter, the arena was alive with anticipation. Fans leaned forward in their seats, cameras held high, hearts racing. Steven Seagal, determined to salvage his pride, squared his shoulders. He had already executed dozens of moves, yet every attempt had been effortlessly countered. Chuck Norris's calm demeanor, combined with that legendary laugh, had unsettled even the most confident observers. But Seagal was nothing if not persistent. Tonight, he would give everything he had. Seagal lunged forward, spinning into a high, forceful Aikido throw. His movements were precise, each one the culmination of decades of training. He aimed to catch Chuck off guard, to finally land a spectacular demonstration that would reclaim the arena's attention. But Chuck, ever composed, didn't just counter. He anticipated every motion before it even began. With a subtle step and a slight shift of weight, Chuck redirected Seagal's energy once again. The audience gasped. It seemed impossible to match such effortless precision. Seagal landed lightly, quickly recovering, frustration flickering in his eyes. The crowd was electric, some laughing, some cheering, all in awe. Whispers spread. He's never seen anything like this. Seagal's moves are perfect, yet he's being outclassed. Chuck Norris took a deep breath, his eyes locking on Seagal. This wasn't about showmanship anymore. The moment had arrived, the throw that would define the encounter. The arena went silent, sensing that something monumental was about to happen. Every camera, every phone, every pair of eyes was fixed on the two masters. With a calm, almost effortless motion, Chuck stepped forward. He moved slowly, deliberately, projecting an aura of absolute control. Seagal, sensing the tension, attempted another spinning technique, but Chuck's single movement met it perfectly. In a heartbeat, he applied a subtle redirection of Seagal's momentum, guiding the spin in a way that was both safe and dramatic. The result was instantaneous and breathtaking. Seagal soared through the air, a flawless arc executed with no hint of aggression from Chuck. It was a single, masterful throw that looked almost choreographed for cinematic effect, a move that left the arena speechless. The crowd erupted. Gasps, cheers, and shouts filled every corner of the stadium. Some fans jumped to their feet, clapping and whooping. Phones captured every angle, ready to make this moment viral within minutes. Even the commentators were momentarily at a loss for words. The arena was buzzing like never before. Fans were on their feet, clapping, cheering, and replaying the moment of Chuck Norris's legendary throw in their minds. The energy was palpable. Some were still trying to process what they had just witnessed. Steven Seagal stood on the mat, regaining his composure, a subtle nod of respect forming on his face. Even in defeat, he exuded grace, but the truth was clear. Chuck Norris had dominated the encounter without even breaking a sweat. Chuck, calm and humble as always, acknowledged the roaring crowd with a slight wave. He didn't need to celebrate. The moment spoke for itself. Every move, every laugh, and that single, flawless throw had solidified his status as the master of the arena. The audience wasn't just impressed, they were inspired. Fans whispered excitedly to one another. Did you see that throw? He made it look so effortless. Seagal's Aikido is amazing, but Chuck's control is on another level. Phones and cameras everywhere captured the event from multiple angles. Clips of the throw, Chuck's laugh, and Seagal's stunned expression were immediately uploaded online. Within minutes, social media exploded. Hashtags like hashtag Chuck Norris, hashtag legendary throw, and hashtag martial arts master flooded timelines worldwide. Fans from different continents shared their reactions, creating a global wave of admiration for Chuck's effortless mastery. Back in the arena, the energy shifted from excitement to admiration. People of all ages were replaying the throw in their minds, analyzing the subtle movements, the redirection of force, and the calmness with which Chuck handled what should have been a chaotic situation. Some fans shouted encouragements for Seagal, too, appreciating the sportsmanship and humility he displayed under pressure. Chuck's laughter earlier had already become a symbol, a representation of confidence without arrogance, mastery without cruelty. It wasn't mockery, it was a demonstration of control and composure. And now, seeing Seagal nod in acknowledgement, the arena understood. This was the perfect balance of skill, respect, and entertainment. The world woke up the next day to an explosion of social media posts, news articles, and memes, all centered around a single moment. Chuck Norris effortlessly throwing Steven Seagal in front of a live arena of thousands. The viral clips were everywhere. Fans from Tokyo to New York, Paris to Manila, replayed the legendary throw and Chuck's infectious laugh on loop. The story wasn't just about martial arts skill. It was about mastery, humility, and the power of presence. On Twitter, millions shared their reactions. Chuck Norris made it look effortless. What a legend. Seagal tried his best, but Chuck is untouchable. That laugh alone is iconic. Pure confidence without arrogance. YouTube and TikTok exploded with short clips of the throw. Reaction videos, slow-motion breakdowns, and commentary from martial arts experts racked up millions of views within hours. Even mainstream media picked up the story. Headlines read, "Chuck Norris turns martial arts exhibition into legendary moment," and "Seagal versus Norris. One throw changes everything." Meanwhile, fans flooded forums and social media with praise not just for Chuck's skill, but for the way he handled the moment. He didn't gloat. He didn't belittle Seagal. He demonstrated mastery with calm humor, showing the world that true power isn't about ego. It's about control, patience, and respect. Seagal, too, was applauded for his sportsmanship, taking the moment with grace despite being outclassed. In the arena, the crowd continued to buzz. The videos captured fans screaming, laughing, and marveling at Chuck's effortless control. Many admitted they had come expecting a showcase, but instead witnessed a historical martial arts moment. Some fans even recreated the throw in slow motion for fun, sharing their attempts online. Memes went viral. Chuck's iconic smile, the laughter, and Seagal's stunned expression became internet legends almost overnight. The impact of that single throw was immediate and far-reaching. Martial arts communities dissected every movement, praising Chuck's timing, precision, and composure. He became a global symbol of mastery, not just strength or speed, but the ability to remain calm, confident, and humble under pressure. Discussions online emphasized that while Seagal's techniques were impressive, true mastery is knowing how and when to act, not just how fast or flashy your moves are. Chuck's legendary throw also inspired fans worldwide. People started sharing personal stories of challenges in their own lives, comparing Chuck's calm dominance to staying composed under pressure. The narrative became more than martial arts. It became a lesson in life, patience, and humility. Meanwhile, Seagal's response elevated the moment even further. His nod of respect, the way he accepted Chuck's superiority without resentment, became a symbol of grace under challenge. The world loved seeing two masters, once rivals in skill, demonstrate respect and professionalism, proving that even in defeat, dignity matters. If you believe true mastery is about skill, patience, and humility, type legend in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more epic, inspiring moments like this one. By the end of the week, the story of Chuck Norris and Steven Seagal had transcended martial arts. It became a global viral moment, celebrated not only for the astonishing throw, but for the lesson it carried: skill without ego, mastery with humility, and the ability to inspire others with every action. Fans continued to share clips, discuss techniques, and marvel at the laughter that started it all. Memes, reaction videos, and analyses kept the story alive, ensuring it would be remembered as one of the most legendary martial arts moments in history. And through it all, Chuck Norris remained the quiet, composed legend he had always been, demonstrating to the world that true greatness is not just in what you can do, but how you carry yourself while doing it. The arena may have emptied, but the impact of that one throw and Chuck's iconic laugh would echo around the world forever.